Hi, we're here with our 2 p.m. Live broadcast from the head of the Charles River Regatta. And I'm Charlotte Pierce. I'm the producer of Ready Row USA. And I'm here with Bobbie Smith, who's the director of the famous San Diego Crew Classic Regatta. Did you call it a regatta?
It is absolutely a regatta.
Absolutely a regatta. And it's famous. I mean, I heard about it so much. I mean, what makes it special?
Well, initially it started because we wanted to showcase that there was West Coast speed.
Really?
50 years ago. It turns out we were right, as we
and
all
not
know.
Not just Washington State.
No, not just Washington, Cal, as well. And of course, last year we had Stanford women winning NC2As and then the Cal men winning at IRAs. So there's definitely some West Coast speed.
Yeah.
It's held up over the last 50 years.
Sweet.
And last year we just celebrated our 50th. So we had our 50th regatta. This year will be our 51st, April 5th to 7th, 2024. And registration opens on Monday, October 23rd.
And is there lodging hard to find when you go there?
There are a lot of hotels so there aren't as many necessarily next to the beach, which is where, of course, the regatta occurs in Mission Bay.
Yeah.
But there are plenty of hotels throughout San Diego. We have 30 to 40 partner hotels.
Sweet.
Most people stay at those.
My daughter and I went out and I did stand-up paddleboarding on Mission Bay, and I rowed with the Mission Bay Rowing Club.
Okay.
I just got on and ate. So that was fun.
When was that?
Oh,
a few years ago?
4 years ago.
Okay. Because Mission Bay Rowing Club has, I think, kind of combined with San Diego Rowing Club.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
No, I think maybe it was San Diego Rowing Club. Anyway,
it was the big boathouse with multiple bays, and UCSD and USD are also there.
I think so.
Yeah.
Maybe
that would be the San Diego Rowing Club.
Give me a year and I'll forget anything.
Well, it's been around. That boathouse has been around, or not the boathouse, but the club since 1888. So
really nice people. Yeah.
We do our best. We try to. We're a very welcoming group.
That's great.
Yeah.
So San Diego Crew Classic, and why is it called Crew Classic?
Because it's big boats.
Yeah.
So it started out in the beginning. The idea was to get out the eights, and we've maintained that. We have added quads. Last year, we added for the first time Masters quads.
Sweet.
And the women's quads sold out in 10 days.
Yeah.
So very happy to have the quads represented at Crew Classic. And this year we're going to we've listed them as 2 heats and a final. Mm-hmm. Instead of last year, we just had 2 flights because we added them and we hadn't had room in the schedule for the final. So we didn't think it would be as popular as it was.
Yeah. So who comes? I mean, do you get a lot of East Coast people?
We do get plenty of East Coast crews, and we also get international crews. Last year in the men's Copley Cup Invitational, we had Oxford Brooks came from the UK, and the Canadian men's national team came, and they raced against Cal, and Cal ended up winning, the Cal men. And we also, on the women's side, Oxford Brooks, their women's team came as well as the Canadian national team. And then we, of course, had Stanford was there, Texas, the University of Washington. It's a great field.
So do those teams bring their own boats? The Oxford Brooks wouldn't have brought.
Oxford Brooks rented books. Boats, not books. Brooks in boats, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And Canada did as well. I believe Canada rented from Wintec. Okay. Oxford Brooks rented from a local, I think USD, rented their boats to them. And then, and the University of Washington. So I think the women rented from University of Washington and the men from USD. And then most other crews, they'll bring their own boats, right? So the University of Washington drives a trailer down, as do the Cal men. And then, this is all the collegiate competition, right? We have masters from all over the world as well. Like Wimbledon is a crew out of, they used to be, I think, London Rowing Club, and now they call themselves Wimbledon. Okay, they were there last year. And I mean,
And you said you have some small boat.
The smallest boat we have is a quad.
The quad, okay.
So that is the only, although that's not true. That's absolutely not true. Freedom Rose, we have a Freedom Rose event every year.
Oh,
And we have a mixed double as well as a double, and those events are obviously smaller boats. But other than that, those are the only small boats we have. And that's because the Olympic para event is a mixed double. So we want to support that part of rowing.
oh, nice. So do you have other para?
The para events, if anyone is interested in
Yeah.
entering the para events, reach out to Deb Ehrenberg, and she puts together boats every year for the Freedom Rose event at the San Diego Crew Classic.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah, we're really happy to be able to host them.
I'm glad. Yeah, we have a para program up at Community Rowing.
I think we had maybe one or two CRI rowers, and it might not have been a double. It might have been in one of our eights because we also have eights there.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah,
So tell me, I mean, you're a rower,
I am. I'm a
clearly.
rower and a coach.
and how did you get into rowing? And what's your rowing story?
I was recruited when I was at UCLA. Not recruited. That's actually the wrong word because I wasn't recruited to come to UCLA. It was before recruiting was a big thing. I'm old enough to remember before Title IX was
I
being
was
like
wondering about that.
enforced regularly.
Yes.
And so I met some rowers on Bruin Walk at UCLA, and they asked me to come out for the team.
Yeah.
I went to a practice because I had chemistry class during the orientation. So I went instead to a practice, and I fell in love. Like I walked into the boathouse and thought, wow, I could do this for the rest of my life.
You actually did, yeah.
I did. Well, there was like an 80-year-old man at the boathouse at the time taking out a single. So that's what made me think, like, if he can do this, I can definitely do this.
That's great.
And it was great because I was able to represent the, University of California at Los Angeles as an athlete for 4 years. And not everybody who goes to college can say that. So I feel very lucky in that regard. Then I, off and on, I rowed, competitively, kind of pre-elite for a while, and eventually decided to coach, which I love. And am very happy right now to be coaching at the San Diego Rowing Club. I coach their novice women.
So glad. Yeah, I was thinking it would be fun to do coaching, but I'm afraid of driving the launch.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You figure it out.
You
It's not.
figure it out.
I suppose where would you be doing it?
Community rowing.
Community. So you'd be doing it here on the Charles. I think there's a bit more traffic here.
Yeah.
We have, although I will say, in Mission Bay, we have paddle boarders and kayaks and jet skis and all sorts of things.
I know the jet skis. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean,
it's mostly here it's rowing.
yeah. There's a lot of paddleboard. Oh, the kayakers sort of wander around.
They
Sometimes.
do.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I was going to ask you about. Oh yeah, the head of the Charles. What are you doing here, and what?
Sometimes I come and I race. I am not racing
You're
here
not
this year.
racing.
My back this year, I had some health issues with it, so I'm recovering. I've been rowing a single and plan to row a quad at the Fall Classic in San Diego in like a month, the San Diego Fall Classic. But I definitely wasn't gonna be able to race this year at the Head of the Charles. So
But you're still
come
active in the single.
I still row the single I have some friends, we kind of think of it as more coffee talk.
Yeah.
We get in a 12K workout while we also stop and chat for 20 minutes at a time. It's a lovely, lovely Sunday row. And I am here though, just to, for instance, to be interviewed by you.
Oh, okay.
Also to meet with some of our different, vendors. We have, the same, we utilize N&D, and they are merchandising people. So they have an annual lobster fest that they like for us to attend. And I, of course, attended. It was fun. I'm actually allergic to shellfish, so I ate the roast beef and the chicken kebab. Everybody else had the lobster. It was massive. And then, I just meet with different people and see how people are doing. It's always good too, I think, to come to other regattas to see what can I do more, better, different for our own regatta. And I can honestly say that there are some great ideas here. And this is, it's, as always, the Head of the Charles is an impressive regatta.
It's got a life of its own. It's really special.
Yeah.
So what sort of ideas are you picking up?
Oh, here?
Yeah.
Some of it, let's just say that we've had some interesting offers, and it's things that our board would need to look at. So I'm not really obliged to mention yet. But I have some great ideas.
Good.
If anybody's listening and they know George Clooney, we'd love to have him as our marshal at the San Diego Crew Classic this year. Speaking of which, I don't know.
But yeah, what she's referring to is the Boys in the Boat director. Is he director?
He directed it. Yes, he did. And it's coming out, I think, December 25th. So right around the holidays for all of us.
So there's a big, huge tent here. If you're coming down to the head of the Charles, they've got all sorts of great information.
They do. And lots of historical information and lots of historical costumes and things.
Yeah.
It's very.
So I'm trying to get, we're interviewing Jen Huffman, who's the granddaughter of Joe Rantz.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's coming on at 4 today.
Wasn't it her idea to make the book? It was either hers or maybe her mother's.
She and her mother, I know her mother did a lot of research and found things in people's attics and, for inform the book and the movie too, I think. So, but yeah, so I'm excited about that. Yeah. So, and do you have rowers from your club that are racing?
I do. We have our youth 8 for both the men and the women. So I think the men are racing at 9:37 or something tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Sunday, and the women are around noon on Sunday. Yeah. So planning to cheer them on. Also, there are numerous boats from the San Diego Rowing Club racing here. There's a women's club masters 50+4. There's one of my former athletes and her father are going to be rowing a Director's Challenge quad. Lots and lots of boats.
I want to do the quad next year.
I was actually talking to my friend about possibly doing that as well this year. We'll see.
I sub into a quad here at Community Rowing, and it's just so much fun. And so whenever they have somebody missing, I'll sub in, and it's like I don't have to commit to the weekly thing, but I get to have the fun. Anyway,
you get to enjoy it, but you don't have to have the commitment. Yeah. I get that.
Do you have family members that row?
My son is the only one.
Okay.
That I'm always telling people to row. My husband has taken up erging in our living room.
Okay. Well, that's
something.
It's a productive thing to do. It's like
it absolutely is. That's why he decided to do it. He was like, I want to lose a couple pounds. I think I'm going to take up rowing, 2 days a week in our living room. So
does he have a concept too, or a hydro?
We have a concept too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got a hydro. So
they look fun.
Yeah, they're it's motivating to see.
I saw
somebody.
Akil here.
Oh yeah. He's been on the show a few times. And then we're having Lane and Nick Karwaski. They're coming on Saturday. But anything else you'd like to say about the Crew Classic, or encouraging people to come? What makes it?
Yeah, I would encourage anyone to come. Again, as I mentioned, it's April 5th to 7th, 2024.
Thank you.
Registration opens on Monday, October 23rd. So right after the head of the Charles, everybody can begin signing up.
Okay.
And it's going to be a great regatta. We have a couple new events this year. We're going to host an ACRA in early season invitational for ACRA crews. Okay. And then also we have it is
American. What is it?
American Collegiate Rowing Association.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
And an open gender race. We know that is
that's interesting.
So that is a race that is open to anyone, and we're really hoping that anybody who feels that they aren't currently able to race due to being gender non-binary, etc. Please come out and race. That's the goal of that race.
Idea, or is that done at other?
It was not my idea. Bobbie Kaiser is a rower out of Spokane,
yeah.
And I rowed with them. Actually, over the summer, I went to Spokane to visit family and rowed with them.
I've rowed up there.
It's beautiful. Yeah. I highly recommend it. And they had suggested to U.S. Rowing that regattas create open gender events.
Yeah.
And I want to be supportive of everyone and inclusive. So I said, yes, let's do that.
I mean, I was trying to figure out how I feel about it. It's just, but it's all optional. You just opt in and that's what you're doing, and it's inclusive.
Exactly. And it just means that anybody can row.
Yeah.
Right? We don't have to have rules around like who you can row with, and
Or what
I think it
level
means
of
clubs that
hormones.
are very inclusive,
Yeah.
right? They're going to put together a boat, and it,
Yeah.
you know, maybe it'll be a boat that's very
I love the
well. It's just going to be a joyous event. I feel
love
like,
it.
and that
It's
we
all good, yeah.
need more things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy that we were able to include it this year. I hope it does well.
Yeah.
We also have an intermediate 8, which is rowers that are in their first 5 years. We wanted to create something so it's like, you know, we have a novice mixed 8 this year. Last year we did a men's and women's intermediate 8. This year it's going to be mixed because the novice mixed 8 worked better, I think. And but they're all about growing the sport. That's our goal, is how do we reach more people and create a regatta that can include more people.
That's brilliant, and that's pretty much the theme of our podcast for the next 5 years at least, or maybe forever. You know, is we just want to broaden access and get it to more people because we feel the joy that rowing brings us.
Absolutely. And I think, you know,
And
speaking
fitness.
of, you were talking about hydro earlier. I think hydro, Peloton,
Yeah.
they're all really increasing access to our sport,
Yeah.
I think, with these new machines and things.
Yeah.
And of course, Concept 2 has been doing that for years, and I love Concept 2. They're amazing.
They have those great like competitions. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Every month
What
you
is it?
can
Like
join a competition.
mud
I love
season
that.
There's like, you know, March, you can do one. And
Yeah,
get
do
ready.
100,000 meters for the holidays, and you know,
I love
anything that gets people
Yeah.
outside, or not, well, outside on the water or inside on an ergometer, being healthier.
Yeah.
Because it's a sport we can do for the rest of our lives. Like I said, that 80-year-old man I met, I thought, okay, I can do this.
And I've been telling people about my friend Susie, who's 29 or 70. She's 29.
29 on the inside.
Yes.
She's 29 on the inside.
And she's like so sharp and so perky and so like fit. And she just raced this morning.
Oh, awesome. How'd she do?
I don't know, but you know,
We'll look it up.
Yeah, she's it's her first year racing. And she's done a couple other races this summer, but this is her first head of the Charles.
All right,
I know. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. This is lovely.
You've talked me into coming to the San Diego Crew Classic.
I would love to see you again, April 5th to 7th.
5th to the 7th. I'll put it in my electronic brain.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and
well, thank
please
you
keep
for
in touch.
having me as well.
Yeah, you know, we have a constant need for coverage too. So if you have somebody who wants to tell their rowing story, we'd love to have them.
We have some interesting people on
I
our
bet you
board
do.
and in the office.
I bet you do.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.
All right. And then we're going to have Cara Stawicki is coming next. Hopefully she's
Nearby.
She made a mistake of going to the U.S. rowing tent where people get sucked into conversations.
Oh, absolutely. I was there for a while earlier.
I know. I got into it. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much for being here. We'll keep in touch. Yeah. I know what I'll do. I'm just gonna put it on.
Let people experience
Yeah.
the ambiance.
I'm just gonna aim the thing out.
Absolutely. We normally do. We'll put out stuff. We have a newsletter too that goes out to several thousand people, so we can send a link to it on that.
It's all Creative Commons attribution, so you're welcome to use it.
I would love to.
Yeah. I have a red-headed daughter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did she get it from Dad?
Kind of. I had a few auburn hairs when I was a blonde.
Okay.
But she's like vivid red.
Yeah, I have gotten less vivid over the years.
Happens,
Yeah. I joke because I've got, like starburst around the temples. It's distinguished.
It is distinguished. It's like, that hair is like a miraculous. Really.
I do know I'm lucky. I've never colored it.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to me. So 46? Yeah. Yeah. 46, got a 17-year-old. Yeah, it is a great hair.
Not quite how I did a big 67. I'm glad.
Stories? The stories to tell.
The stories. Yeah.
You're welcome. All right. Yeah, you too. Oh, yes, I'm here.
No, that's great. We will put on our headphones and sit down.
All right. So you're the pro. So if I get stumped on a question, you'll walk me through it.
It's so informal. Just pretend you're just talking.
Okay. I get a little nervous. I do better writing because I have to sit there and have time to
Yeah,
think.
I'm a publisher, so if you have,
Are you really?
yeah, if you want to write hi, we're here with Cara Stawicki. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay, great. And I think I have your name here somewhere. No, I don't. Cara, tell us a little bit about why you're here at the head of the Charles and what your main focus in rowing is.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm here to compete. I'm racing in the women's championship double with my good friend and teammate Olivia Farrar. We're racing tomorrow, Saturday afternoon. I'm also here as part of the U.S. Rowing's DEI committee. So working to get involved in some of the events going on while also maintaining a focus on the race. There's quite a bit going on this weekend.
And you're with Next
Yes.
Level, and what's your HP thing?
Yes.
I was
So
gonna put that on there.
yeah, sure. Well, so Next Level Rowing, that's a new club affiliation for me. I've been, I moved out of Philadelphia about 2 years ago, and since then I've been floating around a little bit in terms of club affiliation. But this past summer, I hooked up with Next Level Rowing, who has a big presence in coastal rowing.
Yes.
So I competed in that for the first time less than a month ago.
Now, didn't you guys get a silver or something, or was it?
So let's see.
Was it Worlds?
This is gonna test my memory. So we had the beach sprints, and then we had the coastal world championships, which is the endurance event. The beach sprints, the mixed quad won. I believe they got gold. And then I want to say there were 3 silver medals for the U19 junior boats. I can't exactly remember what boat classes. And then for the endurance worlds, the men's, I want to say the men's double and the men's solo medaled as well. And beach sprints. I'm forgetting Christine. Christine, I'm so sorry. Christine,
Cavallo.
yes, Cavallo. She
Yeah.
also medaled in the beach sprints
She's
too.
totally into that coastal stuff now.
Oh yeah.
She used to be at CRI.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Hydro.
Yes, and Hydro. Yes, she too, similar to me, bounced around a little bit.
Yeah.
But super fun. It was my first experience in coastal, and it was unprecedented for the U.S. to have such a strong showing this year. So yeah,
I'm so glad.
Yeah, really
Was
exciting.
Christopher back there?
Yes, Chris Bach. Yeah, so he won. Let's see, he won the men's solo. Oh no, I'm worrying I'm messing this up. I think he won the men's.
He won something.
Yeah.
And then the year before he got the gold, right?
I think he did, yeah. And I want to say this year between beach sprints and endurance, he earned 3 medals, which at a world championships, like that's unprecedented in my knowledge. And shout out to our coaches, Mark, Oria, and Coach Ben, because they've really been driving this, and like they're providing a lot of like the positive energy behind the whole movement.
That's Ben Booth.
Yes, Ben Booth, yeah.
He's like the Zen master of coastal rowing, isn't he?
He, as far as I know, yeah. It's still so new to me, so I don't want to come off as an expert on.
No, that's okay. I'm not. I mean, I rowed with him. He was just developing his boats. you
Okay.
know. So he took us out in quads. We took a bunch of people down to Westport, Mass.
Oh, in Connecticut. Oh, in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just like I was so impressed with him. And then he takes these kids out to the islands on these camps. I don't know if he still does that, but it's like just is a super guy.
Yeah. I don't know if he's still doing camps. He might be. My first taste of it when I committed to doing the Worlds was I went up to Dartmouth, Massachusetts, where I think that's primarily during the year where he operates out of.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
got in a quad there
Yeah.
with the women that I raced with. So when you went out with him, were you in a quad?
Yeah.
What was your experience like?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's just a totally different kind of rowing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you sort of miss the water once. So how do you train for coastal, like that kind of rowing?
Yeah. Oh, that's a great question. And honestly, like, I'm not really the person to ask because I'll give you a little backstory for this summer specifically. I was training the pair. So my initial intention was to go to trials in the lightweight pair. I raced in that back in 2019, and I think in my mind I'm at the end of my what I consider my elite career, and I wanted one more big race. So I was like, all right, we're going to trial in the pair again. About 2 weeks before trials, that opportunity fell through. And I had been familiar with the coastal because when I was in Sarasota, I got an opportunity to see some trials happen there this past spring. I met Jim Henderson, who's another big name in the coastal world. So I was familiar with it. I was attracted to it, and I knew to call Mark, and that's how I got into it. But regarding the training, I had really been training flat water until I made the shift. And then we actually went over with my boat. We did the mini camp up in Dartmouth. We were rowing on the open water up there. And then we went over to Spain for about the 3.5 week training camp before going over to Italy to race. And the training was very similar to what I've done in the past for flat water, a little bit more. I would say we baked in a little bit more explosive work on land. There is a running component, which obviously you don't have here.
I know that's just so fun. It looks like so much fun.
It's so fun. I can't overstate like how much fun and what a great experience it was. And I really I didn't anticipate it. I think that's why I keep emphasizing it to people when I talk to people and explain to people about it. So
that's so cool. But you still pursue flat water rowing, is that right? Will you be a master's rower, or
I don't know. So I have this race tomorrow, and then I'm gonna take a little bit of a break and reevaluate. With the camp over in Spain, and then the racing, I've been away from home, and in different beds and different hotel rooms for a good 5 to 6 weeks now. So I think I just want to get home after the Charles, regroup, do a little self-reflection and figure out what the next steps are from there. So
And your rowing resume, can you tell us a little bit about your national team? Is that Olympic or
no Olympics? I did compete on 3 senior national teams. I raced in the light women's squad in 2017 and 2022. And then I raced in the light women's pair in 2019. So my partner and I won the gold medal that year, and that was a dream come true, quite frankly.
Isn't that a great feeling?
Such a great feeling. And I'm grateful that I experienced it that way, because there are plenty of athletes who achieve that and don't have that experience where they feel so fulfilled. But just all the work that went into that boat and all the adversity we faced going into that season, I felt like for both of us, it had a lot of meaning. So that was wonderful. And then prior to that, I got involved in rowing 2001. I raced for Lehigh University. It was a club crew team at the time. I was a walk-on as a freshman. I was coming from a swimming background.
Swimming.
Yep, so that's what I did growing up. I rowed for Coach Paul Savell, who is now the head of the program at Drexel. He's been there for quite a few years. And that's about it.
That's sweet. And so I'm asking people how they feel about the head of the Charles course, and what's challenging about it, what draws you to this event.
Oh my goodness. What's challenging about the course specifically, I don't think it's a surprise. I think navigating the course is difficult.
It's all strategy.
It's so much strategy. I have had the good fortune of sitting stroke seat in the double for the past 2 years, and I will stroke again this year. So that takes a lot of pressure off.
Oh.
I
know bow is just
really hard. Bow, the single, it's and hands up to everybody who can do it and lean into it and do well with it. That's not a strength of mine. So I know that. So I just like don't even try.
There are people who love it.
There are, and courses like this are designed for them, and that's great.
Yeah.
And then conditions too. Like conditions are always like so variable. So that is certainly a challenge. It's a challenge, and it also offers a lot of opportunity. Because it could be flat in one direction, and then you make a turn and get hit with a big headwind, or take advantage of tail. So something like that is challenging, but it's also fun. So
what else do you do in your life? You said you're a writer as well. Do you do some writing?
Oh, I do some writing. Yeah. So I a couple of things. So
and you have a training program or something.
I don't have a training program. I do have a coaching business. It's called Be Brave High Performance.
Be Brave, yeah.
Yes.
That on.
Yeah, and so to tie that actually relates to my writing because back in 2015, I started a blog, and I called the blog Be Brave. The website is carastawicki.com. It's just my name, and I wanted to write about my personal experience and write about the a lot of focus on like the psychological components, mental training components, really as a way to like give back to the rowing community. And I always had in the back of my head that I would potentially like build it into some sort of business. So I am currently expanding it into a coaching business. It's right now it's existing as a one-to-one platform where I would work independently with athletes. This gives me the
sort
chance
of remotely, or
it could be remote, it could be in person. I have done some hybrids in the past where if a athlete is local to where I am, we'll do a hybrid of in person and remote. And related to that, I am actually newly a student. I'm going into it'll be a year in January. I'm pursuing a master's in health and human performance right now with a health coaching certificate rolled in. And that was important to me because as I get into this performance coaching, I did want to have the, like a robust background to draw on outside of my experience as an athlete. So, yeah.
So it's really a pleasure to meet you, and I've heard about your recent activities, and it's nice to have you here.
Yeah, thank you so much. This has been wonderful. And again, like Jenny Trays from US Rowing connected us, and I know her through the DEI committee. And the committee they have a big presence here this weekend. They've been doing a lot of great work. So if anybody's interested, you could stop by, meet some DEI committee members at the US Rowing tent.
Yeah, I'm so glad that that's a really strong program that they have going. So great. So, and we're a Ready Row USA as a media partner for the convention. So we'll be back. Do you know where it's going to be?
I don't.
Yeah, I know. They did the last time I checked. But thank you, Cara. It's really great to have you here.
Thank you.
We'll do it again.
Yes, absolutely. Anytime. Thank you.
Good deal. Okay.